The Xbox 360 was a console that changed gaming forever, and in today's video we'll be taking a look at its rise and fall and to see if it is still usable today. The Xbox 360 was released around the world in late 2005. Its specs contained a processor which was the Xenon triple core running at 3.2 GHz. It had 512 megabytes of GDDR3 RAM which was shared with the graphics card. This ran at 700 MHz. The graphics was the ATI Xenos at 500 MHz, and it had different storage options which we'll get into a little bit later. But first we need to go back to the beginning, and we need to go all the way back to 2004. After the launch of the original Xbox in 2001, Microsoft knew they needed to do something to beat PlayStation in the next generation, as the PS2 had outsold their console massively. To do this, they started work on the next Xbox, which was actually one of its codenames at the time, in early 2003. We didn't really hear anything about it until about 2004, but Microsoft knew this time they wanted to beat PlayStation at their own game by releasing the next Xbox before their PlayStation 3. In late 2005, Microsoft released the Xbox 360. They had done it, they had beaten their competitor PlayStation to the next generation 1 year early, as the PlayStation 3 wasn't released until late of 2006. However, it did come at a cost, as Microsoft had pretty much rushed this out the door just to make sure that they were ahead for this generation. They had also caused themselves really a massive headache, and that was in the Red Ring of Death. Now, the Red Ring of Death is very well documented. Most people have heard of it by this point, but pretty much what was happening was these consoles were overheating, which was causing them to red ring, which was an error that the Xbox 360s would show up basically to tell the owner that there was something wrong with the console. This affected a lot of consoles, and what ended up happening was Microsoft ended up, under their own cost pretty much, bringing back all the consoles that had the faults, fixing them and sending them back to the customers. This cost them a lot of money, but this also gave them a better reputation to new customers that they were actually somebody who cared about what was going on. However, for the first month or so, a lot of people had Red Ring of Death and they just kept being put off. So it was a good job Microsoft stepped in when they did, because if that had happened throughout the entire generation, it would have meant that the 360's launch would have failed, but it didn't. Now, this is where the Xbox 360 comes into its own and why this console changed gaming forever. So this is because this was really the first console that cemented online gaming as it is today. Now, the original Xbox did have Xbox Live, but nothing in compared to what the 360 was. The original Xbox had party chat for if you were in the same game as your friend, and they also had online gaming, but that was pretty much it really. Whereas the Xbox 360 added a lot of things. You could do all the things the original Xbox could do, but you had profile pictures, you had themes, you had messages, you could have a party where you could talk to anybody, even if you were just on the dashboard. Really what had happened was there was quite a lot of things that could now be done. There was achievements as well, which were on the Xbox original, sort of. There was a lot more really, and this cemented it to a lot of players and gamers across the world, which was why its launch was so successful. They then also added this in by updating the dashboard later on in the life when the Xbox 360 Slim came out, which also gave it more features like avatars, and they had different things that they could have as well, which I'll get into a little bit more later. But this console really did change gaming forever just by doing all of this. So this is where I come in. So the Xbox 360 you have seen in the images that you can see now is actually my own personal Xbox 360, which I have owned since Christmas 2010. Now, the Xbox 360 Slim was a slight revision to the older Xbox 360 original, which you can see on screen now. This one was kindly borrowed to me by my friend. As you can see, there is a lot of redesign going on, and you can see why the Xbox 360 Slim is called the Xbox 360 Slim. This Xbox 360 Slim is the 4GB arcade matte black. This was the standard that you would get. All 4GB came in matte black and had no hard drive, so you would have to rely on either external USBs or just delete games that you didn't want anymore. I went for USBs, and then I eventually upgraded to a hard drive later down the line. At the time, if you had enough money to get one with a hard drive already in it, you would get a gloss black finish, but later down the line they stopped doing the gloss black and did all of them as matte black. So if you see some normal matte black ones with no 4GB onboard chip, it'll be because it's a later model. My version was actually built in 2009 because I have opened it up once and I've seen all the date stamps in there, and it was a 2009, so this was a launch model Xbox 360 Slim. I've had no issues with mine since I've had it. I had a hard drive die once which made it red ring, but that wasn't to do with the hardware. But they still get hot even though they don't red ring as much as the original. Now, in terms of the Xbox 360's life, when this was released in 2010, the Xbox 360 Kinect was also released. Now, the Xbox 360 Kinect is quite a strange story really, but it does make sense in terms of a business model, I guess. At the time, Nintendo Wii was massive and people were buying lots of Nintendo Wiis. It had got to the point where Nintendo had actually outsold both Xbox and PlayStation just because of how accessible the controls were on the Nintendo Wii. And you could see why it was a very family friendly console and it was making Nintendo a lot of money, and obviously Xbox and PlayStation wanted a bit of that and try and take some of the sales from there, which was why the Xbox 360 Kinect was come out and PlayStation had their own thing. I think it was called the Move or something. So both of those were released just to try and get some of the sales. I personally enjoyed the Kinect at the time. I didn't find it gimmicky at all. I did enjoy playing the games, maybe because I was in the age range at the time of somebody who would enjoy it, but I didn't find it like janky or anything. I think what it relied on quite a lot was a lot of light. If the room you was playing in didn't have a lot of light, your character would not move properly, which was sort of a limitation of the hardware, I guess, at the time. Luckily, where I was using my Xbox, it was really light and bright, and I had no issues like that. It did work very well. This sort of tarnished the brand slightly when the Kinect was brought out, as they tried to make everything Kinect. I remember at one point you had to use Kinect to open the Xbox tray, and it got a bit much, I guess, and I understand why, but yeah, they forced Kinect down people's neck instead of focusing on what was really what people and gamers at the time wanted, which was not a full focus on Kinect, just sell it as an accessory, but it was literally like everything was Kinect, and that's sort of where things went downhill for Xbox coming into the next generation, but that's for another video. But we want to see now where Xbox 360 is today. So I have been using my Xbox 360 again for about 2 weeks now, using it every day, playing gaming, just to see what it's like in 2024. So here is my experience. So firstly, apologies for the camera setup. I could not get a capture card, well, my capture card to work with the 360. So we're gonna have to just go from here. So let's do a quick boot up time test. So controller, I've just pressed it. Here the disk drive, burst into life. 360, and there we go. Xbox 360 is now online. That was pretty quick, I think, pretty quick. There we go, and then we're at the dashboard. So it's going to be a bit of a real-time test. I know you're not normally used to stuff like that, but I thought I'd try something a little different, and apologies for all the camera angles and stuff, but it's the best I could set up a tripod with, so please bear with me. So I'm filming this on the 16th of July. I know at some point the store is shutting down at the end of this month. I'll put it on screen now because I can't remember the date. Something in my head's telling me the 26th, but I'll put it, it'll be at the bottom of the screen now. So this is how the Xbox Live dashboard looks at the moment. I don't have Xbox Live Gold at the moment, so that's probably why it says Gold. Weirdly, if you press A, it doesn't do anything. So, yeah, the more you know. I'm going to turn the volume down just slightly, just in case. When I'm going through the menus, you might not hear me over the top of it. Right, so this is the last version of the Xbox 360 dashboard, which was sort of a Windows 8-ish sort of theme. As you can see, you've got your open tray. which opens the tray, and you can close the tray. You've got your pins. This is where you could pin like games you was looking for or any apps that you use quite often. You could just go to my pins. I got mine. Probably got a couple of games that I need to buy or something. Or just 2 games there. So you could pin whatever you want. You've got your recents, what you recently been looking at. The Microsoft movies and TV, we'll get back to that later. Your apps, again, another one we'll get back to later. My games, quite self-explanatory. Need help, where you could ask for help on something you was confused on when you use 360. And the search, which is also here as well, which is Bing search. But you can search for anything really. I have no idea. Forza. I do have the official keypad over there, but Forza. Oh, the D-pad got stuck there. Forza. And there we go. And then it brings back on Forza. So that's not actually a web search, which is a bit confusing because it looks like it is, but it isn't. So that's there. Social. So this is where you could do all your social stuff for your friends and your achievements and all that. You can go to friends. You can go to your own character. You have the activity feed, which was added in a bit later. I'll get to that in a minute. The avatar store, and you can sign in or out. So friends, obviously this shows you all your friends. I'll probably blur out if anybody's names comes up. There are your friends. They're all asleep because no one plays 360 anymore. Very sad. Beacons and activity. That's quite a niche one. So this was how you could let your friends know if you wanted to play a game. So you could have, is it the, no, it's my last, so I have some beacons set up. I don't know if they're there, but they're the beacons. But anyway, you could set up your own beacons and tell somebody that you want to play a game. So if I wanted to play, for example, Halo 4 with somebody, I could set up a beacon for Halo 4. And what would happen is they would, when they'd launch Halo 4, they'd get a little notification at the bottom saying, Jake Sticky would like to play Halo 4 with friends. And then they'd know I'd want to play that game with them. It's quite a cool idea in my mind. Don't know why they didn't go any further with it, but they didn't, so that's that. Obviously, everybody knows Xbox Live parties. You can do a party chat with people. Quite cool. There is also a private chat as well, which we'll get to later. The activity feed. So I'll blur out if any information that we don't need to see. There's a bit there. So this shows you friends' achievements mainly from Xbox One. Now, when this came out, that's what it didn't show. You could just post whatever you wanted to on this activity feed. However, since Xbox One's come out and the series and whatever afterwards, this is all it shows now, is just unlocking achievements. It doesn't seem to be 100% accurate, but it does show the achievements of people. I don't know if this exists on Xbox One anymore. I can't remember seeing it the last time I used an Xbox One or anything newer. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, you can like and comment and share your other friends' achievements basically, but you couldn't share Xbox 360 ones, which I found a bit weird. Avatar store probably get to later because it takes a little bit to load. In terms of the, person, you have your avatar. Obviously, we'll get to that later. There's a lot of cool things you can do with avatars, and then you have your messages, activity alerts. You could set up alerts in those activity feeds that I showed you to, alert you if a friend did a certain activity, and then you had your achievements. Your achievements showed you all your achievements of every single game. Pretty self-explanatory, but it's quite a cool system and it goes across. Very nice. And you can see all your achievements for your past games. It even tells you when you last played them, how many achievements you've unlocked out of how many, and your game score out of how many per game. Pretty cool. This is where you can change your gamer tag, which still costs money. Microsoft. You can change your theme. I've got a Honda Civic Type R Concept 1 because I like it. And you can customise your avatar from there as well. There's a bit more information on there, but nothing you need to know about really. My games. So this is where we get onto stuff. So these are all my downloaded games. I've been through the last week using the Xbox 360, and I've been going through downloading all the past downloads I've had. Because the store's shutting, I should still be able to download them after the store shuts, but I just wanted to do it now, just so it's out of the way and I don't have to worry about it at another date. So I've downloaded everything I've got. You can see I've got quite a good collection here of downloaded games. I've got quite a good collection of physical games as well, which you'll probably see on the video, well, the main video, without me talking free form like this. But that's all on there. You can have a look at add-ons. Does this show you my add-ons or just add-ons in general? Just add-ons in general for games. Obviously they're DLCs and stuff now, but they used to be called add-ons. You can browse games on the store. There you go, I'll show you some games. FIFA 19 is there, surprisingly. Does that come up? No. As you can see, it's a bit broken. So, yeah, there's all different ways to look at games, themes, gamer pictures. You know, this was the era of Xbox Live that really kicked off a new generation of online gaming. This pretty much set the standard, which is still used today. We had the arcade, which was, you know, I wonder if this still works. Oh yeah, the arcade still works. So the arcade games were quite cool. They were just little games. Minecraft was one of those. So yeah, and there was also indie games, but that has now been removed. That's no longer on here. Indie games were, well, made by indie developers, small developers, and a lot of them were very popular. But they have recently shut that down, and Xbox don't have anything to do with the indie scene anymore. Movies and TV. So I said I'd get back to this. So movies and TV. You can buy movies and TV up until the end of this month. After that, you won't be able to. Not many people used it, when I remember right. You could also rent stuff off there. I think I may have used it once or twice, but yeah, it wasn't really popular. Netflix is on here, which does work as far as I can see. I did have YouTube on here, but I've deleted it because it doesn't seem to work for me. Now, online, a few people have said that YouTube does work, but it's varying success. Some people get it to work, sometimes it don't. I'll put the error code on the screen that most people seem to get, which I got as well. Yeah, I wouldn't trust it for YouTube. I'd use something else that you've got. Most people now have got a smart TV or a Fire Stick at least, so you can maybe use that for your video apps instead, which is what I've done. I don't use the Xbox. I haven't used the Xbox 360 this week for any of these apps because plainly none of them work very well. And it's 1080p. I'm on a 4K TV now, which upscales quite nicely. But yeah, it's not good for video really. It's a 1080p device. Well, meant to be 720 and then 1080, but yeah, not brilliant. Apps. This is just regular apps. So the internet's on there. That doesn't really work anymore. That's quite broken. So also would not suggest using that. Your music, you can still play music through here. Windows Media Center, I haven't tested because I haven't got anything that's got Windows Media Center on anymore. There's photo viewer and a few system video player. You can save stuff to your hard drive and you know, so on and so forth. What was very good about this generation of 360s as well was you could actually use USB storage without doing anything to it. Like you could just plug it in, format it, and use it, which is brilliant. Now you've got to buy proprietary cards, and yeah, it's not great. So that's the whole Xbox 360 menu. I hope you've enjoyed looking through the menu with me. We'll go now to the Avatar store because this will be closing in a few days. So we'll have a look for the last time at the Avatar store and see what's on here. Probably won't be too much but it's worth taking a look at before it actually shuts down, because we'll be one of the last people to log on. Now, if you do anything Xbox 360 related like this, it is quite slow to load, and that's because the network card in there is only 100 down. So, you know, keep that in mind. But also, the Xbox Live servers at the moment are a bit slow as well. So, anyway, as you can see, there's Avatar stuff here. A lot of it's quite out of date now. Most recent, there's a Christmas tree from 2018. But you could literally have a look at different items. Yeah, if you span them around too quickly, get dizzy, which is funny. You can look at different items on here, but you'd have to purchase them 79p. yeah, people did this back in the day. Luckily, all the stuff I've got I didn't pay for, so yeah, you could look at different tops for your character. There's an England shirt there. Yeah, headwear, hats and stuff. As you can see, it's very slow. But you sort of get the gist of the Avatar store. You could also buy full ones like what I'm wearing. Obviously that doesn't work. Yeah, but that will all be shut down in a few days. Let's have an exit. Seems very happy. For nothing's changed, and he's happy. There we go. And we're back to the normal home screen. So now I'll play a few games and show them off to you with what they're like, really. There is so many different games for the Xbox 360, really. They all vary in quality, but I've probably showed you in the video, the games are endless. And one of my personal favourites is Forza Horizon 2, so I'm going to be playing that. This is one of the later Xbox 360 games, so it has one of the best, quality, one of the best quality going, so let's put that in there. And I'll sort of show you guys what this looks like. Now, while waiting for the game to load, it's also noted that the Xbox 360, that is the Slim that I have, it does still overheat quite a lot. So I do have a fan for it. I haven't got it plugged in at the moment, but yeah, they do get very hot. So here we go. Obviously it's running off a disc, but it's not running too bad. Classic 2010. Got things we've got to see. Microsoft Studios. A bit of a throwback look. And here we go. We're going into Dolby Digital. So now let's go to I can't remember what I said. The Cloud Save games. Cloud Save games actually came out when when cloud streaming sort of started with the Xbox. When they set up their servers for that, it just appeared one day on 360. That's anything 360 gained from the cloud. Well, Microsoft and Xbox's venture into cloud technologies. That's the only thing they actually gained out of it. Let's turn the music off before I get copyrighted. There you go, radio's off. So, yeah, the radio does glitch a bit in this game, but as you can see, this is, what year even is this now? It's a good question. Here is, on here somewhere. No? 2014. It's a 2014 game, so this was a year after Xbox One launched. There was an Xbox One version to this game, but you can see it plays very, very well. This is a McLaren P1 in purple for some reason. But as you can see, very well. Very good looking game. To consider it's on Xbox 360, which doesn't have that much power and only half a gig of RAM, it's pretty mental. Like, look at the background, look at all the car quality. I think it's pretty decent. I don't know what those wheels are, but car quality looks pretty decent. Gameplay is very good. Physics are a bit left to be desired, but that's what you're going to expect with a late Xbox 360 game, early Xbox One, but very good game, and really astounding what the quality is like for such an old title, really. So I'll just change cars just to show you what different cars look like. I think the colours probably are slightly out, which is why I notice more on going back to an older game like this, but as you can see, you'd be hard pressed to look at the differences really between this and early Xbox One games. Sometimes I know some early Xbox One games that look worse than this. So, and obviously they had more power to run off. Let's get into the Forza Horizon 1 car, why don't we? But yeah, the cut screens are really nice. Look at that. Lovely. But yeah. You see, that to say it's on what it's on, the hardware that it's running, very good. Very, very good. See, motion blur is on a little bit, isn't it? But I'm going quite quick here, and hopping isn't really that bad. There we go. So yeah, very good game for anybody wondering. So let's go back to Xbox Home. Now, the issue you will find with Xbox games, especially like Forza Horizon 2, the servers no longer work for them, so please keep that in mind. A lot of games don't have servers anymore. I think some of the more basic games and some of the older games that use peer-to-peer systems, they still work, obviously, because they don't need dedicated servers. But apart from that, there is some games you can still play online, and the ones that you can't, it's a shame because you won't be able to get online achievements or play with your friends if you both have an Xbox 360 for some reason. But it is doable. Now, let's go for one of the classics and one of my personal favourite games. There we go. We'll put that into the 360. Try not drop it. There we go. One of my favourite games in Halo 3, so let's wait for this to load. Riveting content here on the Jake's Techie channel. Let's play an Xbox 360. So many years later. Oh, an update is required. You will have this if you haven't played your games for a very long time. It needs an update to do everything just to connect to Xbox Live, so keep that in mind. I believe the 360 servers for Halo 3 don't work anymore. So I'm not able to play online, but I should be able to show you a bit of gameplay. Now, Forza Horizon 2 was installed on my hard drive, so that would have run a little quicker than this. If you are playing Xbox 360 games and you've got space on your hard drive, make sure that you install them, because they do run and load a bit quicker. There you go, Halo 3. Let's go. I have no idea where I've saved my data. I'm going to say cloud save games. So I'm going to go to a custom forge because nothing else works. Well, that music is intensely loud. I do like it, but it's very loud. A lot louder than I remember it was. Can we start forge yet? No, we've got to wait for it to load. Very good. So really, you can now see, guys, the Xbox 360 is quite slow. There you go. So start Forge, and we'll show a bit of gameplay. See what it's actually like. We'll put the sound back on as well now. So here we go. Yeah, this looks pretty good. So my TV is sort of upscaling because this is a 4K TV. It's running at 1080p, I guess, maybe even 720, and it's just upscaling it. It looks decent. Oh, that's the horn, I remember now, yeah. As you can see, it's very good. I've played so many hours on this, I don't even know how many, but I lost count. Obviously now this is all, you can get remastered versions in the Master's Chief Collection and so on and so forth. So, but you know, these games have held up very well. They're not as old as I expected them to look, so, you know what I mean? I'm not too disappointed really. I nearly tipped it over. Jesus. Right. Before I kill myself on this. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'll better get off this. I can't drive it properly. So yeah, some very cool. But it's still quite a good game in its own right, and you can still play it on a 360. You just can't play it online, unfortunately. I think System Link works. So if you've got two 360s and want to hook those up, you can System Link with each other, I guess. Don't know who's going to be doing that in 2024, but you know what? People have surprised me. People probably will do it. So yeah, decent game in its day, and still holds up very well today. A lot more than I expected. But obviously you can hear that disc drive. It's quite loud. That's probably why the music's so loud, actually. It's to combat the disc drive noise. It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me. As I said, there isn't a magnitude of games on the 360, and they are very cheap right now. You can go to CEX and pick these up for like next to nothing. I think Halo's like 50p now or something like that, or £1.50. Very, you know, very decent. One more thing I'd like to show, while we do this sort of live and unscripted part, is the backwards compatibility of the 360. Now everybody nowadays talks about the Xbox One and its backwards compatibility, but the Xbox 360 also had it for the original Xbox. So I'm just now sticking in Halo 2 from the original Xbox, and we're going to see what happens when you go into an original Xbox game on the Xbox 360. So there we go, and it needs an update. Of course it does. It needs an update to everything apparently. So keep that in mind if you're playing the 360. Get ready for a lot of updates. So here we go, original Xbox. So this is actually running on an emulator that's built into the Xbox 360. And it is a very good emulator. And I'll talk a bit more about that right now. So in terms of the Xbox 360's original Xbox emulator, it is quite a feat what they have managed to do on this. Now, I don't know a lot about it pretty much, but Budget Bills did do a very good video not too long ago, so I will link that in the iCard above and you'll see a little bit now, a little snippet on the screen, but pretty much they did do quite a good job because the original Xbox was PowerPC architecture and they managed to get this over to a regular x86 platform, and that is quite a mean feat to get this emulation running very well. But in his video, he does explain how you can modify the Xbox 360 to be able to make this emulator even better than what it currently is and unlock it even more. And I think that's where we sort of get to in today's video, where the Xbox 360 is today. As you can see, the experience is still usable at the moment. It's starting to degrade very slowly. But if you are happy to not use Xbox Live, you can modify your console. That's something I'm not going to go into in this video, but there's plenty of videos all over the internet that show how to modify your Xbox 360. There is no soft mod available, it is only a hard mod, so it's not as accessible as some gaming consoles, but it is still possible, so you can do that. That will allow you to download your games, or put more games on your console that you don't own, cough cough, but it allows the Xbox 360 to do a lot more, and probably you could do some overclocking and a bit of tweaking, I guess, to make the Xbox 360 run even better than what it does today. But the games that are on the Xbox 360 are absolutely endless, and there is so many good games that came out on this console which have received remasters afterwards because of how good they were. And that's probably why today it is still worth picking up one of these Xbox 360s. Now you can get an Xbox 360 arcade, like the white one that's on screen now, I wouldn't really go for one of those. It's one of the oldest. It's probably the most likely to fail out of them, and they did have red ring of death. Most of them have been picked up now, but there may still be the odd one you could pick up, so I'd avoid that one. The Xbox 360 Slim I have is pretty good. It's not too bad. It still gets a bit warm and it is a little bit power hungry. But the Xbox 360e is also out there, which was the very last revision of the Xbox 360 console. I haven't really mentioned it in this video as much as it did come out alongside the Xbox One, and that was basically seen as a cheap alternative, and that runs on lower power. However, cannot mod the Xbox 360e, so if you're looking to mod sometime in the future, I would not pick up an Xbox 360e, as so far nobody has been able to hack it because it runs on a completely different board and it's just more power efficient, but because it's a different board it's not the same, and no one's figured out how to hack it even to this day. So yeah, if you want to buy an Xbox 360 in 2024, it is still worth it, I'd say, but for the prices Xbox Ones are starting to become now, it's starting to not be as recommendable, I guess. So just leave that in mind if you're looking, you want to get into this. But as I said, the games are very, very cheap, so it is 100% still worth it, in my mind anyway. If you've made it all the way through to this video, thank you. I really appreciate it. If you could subscribe to the channel, I would really much appreciate it, as most of you watching this video aren't subscribed. So if you could subscribe, I'd be over the moon. If you could like this video as well, that would really help, and share this video to anyone who you think might enjoy it. Anyway, if you've got any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments down below, and I will see you guys